I hope the mayor's going to be here. He's kind of the star of the show today.
It's 2 o'clock, so we'll call the commission meeting for Thursday, December 16th, 2021 to order. I'd like for us to stand for the invocation and the pledge. The invocation will be given by Commissioner Neal, and Commissioner Cook will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me, please. Father, we just thank you for this time, this season, this reason to celebrate. We thank you for all that you do for us. We thank you for this beautiful place in which we live. We thank you for the people of the Joint Water and Sewer Commission and their dedication to their job, the way that they shine in our community to bring forth the quality of work that we have grown to expect and that we see from them every day. Just take a moment, Father, to just thank them for their dedication. We also want to remember our first responders and all that they do, and for our people of the armed services for their dedication and sacrifice to serve our country. And Father, in this holiday season, when we know that so many will be away from families, we just ask for your peace and comfort on them. We just thank you and celebrate who you are and what you've done for this human race that you love so much. Be with us as we go through this meeting today. Father, let us be good stewards of all that you entrust to us. Let us lift up your name and praise it in all that we do. And it's in your most holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Strickland texted me and said he's in a case and he might be a little late coming to the meeting. And hopefully Commissioner Harvey will be here pretty soon. Do we have any public comment? We don't have any public comment. Retirement recognition, Dennis Lewis. Dennis, will you step forward?
Gentlemen, I'll say it's always an honor to work with somebody with integrity and character, and you won't find anybody stronger, both of those, than Dennis Lewis. But though I've been privileged to lead the division since 2017, I can only take partial credit for, I didn't hire the fella, Luke Orser Schwalm did. So as our billing manager, I'd like to introduce Luke, and then our customer service manager, Olivia. Amen. Please come up, and you guys get the honor of standing with Dennis to say goodbye.
I want to congratulate you for 11 years.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to miss you. You've done a good job. Jack, and we appreciate everything you've done for us. And I understand you got something for the grilling.
Yes, sir. May I have a few minutes?
Yes, sure can.
Guys, I've been blessed with many things, but I want y'all to understand this is all with humor that I'm about to add this with y'all today. Please don't take it out of context. But I want to tell all of the inmates that I have been working with for over the past decade that it has absolutely been some of the best times. Now, we've had best times always, but I choose to remember only the good times, and that's me. And to the board, I want a recommendation for y'all, and I think it would be great for morale, and I think it would be great for production if y'all could get some decent toilet paper in our bathroom. Finally, the last thing I say to this parole board, I thank y'all for releasing me, and more than anything, I thank you for the pension that you've set up for me, and I promise to spend it wisely.
I've got something to say. Dennis, from the time you started as a temp from our customer service department, when this organization was formed, your customers knew you as Mr. Southland Grocery.
Customers knew that they could come to you and you would take care of them. From getting them signed up for service to resolving high water bills and getting leaks fixed, to getting their account closed and you getting them moved out, you were always there for our customers. When I interviewed you for this full-time position in customer service years ago, I knew you were the right person for the job. You have a heart for this job. And this type of characteristic is something that money cannot buy. You were the first one here in the morning to make sure that when we opened the doors, it was on time. You worked diligently to make sure that our customers were taken care of during busy moments. Fridays and first of the month was our busy moments, and sometimes we would have customers out the door. We just stayed here until the job was done. You honor us by your dedication to caring for our customers. It is our core value, our very first core value, customer focused. Today we honor you by celebrating your retirement from the Joint Water and Sewer Commission. You have worked hard and you have earned this retirement. You will be missed dearly by customers and your co-workers. No one can replace you. It's been a marvelous ride. You've done very well.
I feel like Superman. My honor, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I will say, I know multiple people that tell me they come to pay their bill every month in person just so they can say hey to Dennis. I hope they continue to pay now that he's retired.
Thank y'all.
We'll move to the committee updates now. We had a facilities meeting yesterday. Pleased to report that all three plants are operating within permit. The Academy Creek's at 55% of capacity, Dunbar's 85% capacity, and Southport's at 29% capacity. We also discussed and approved for submission to the full council 3 change orders and 2 infrastructure dedications. And then we approved for agreement to the full board the USGS joint funding agreement, and that's to track the saltwater intrusion plume that could affect our water source. And then we had a good presentation by Mr. Klein on the capital projects that we have and the photos, and we've got 14 projects in various stages right now. That concludes my report. I'll ask Commissioner Duncan to please give a report on the Finance Committee meeting we had.
Thank you, Chairman. Our agenda yesterday was really light. It was refreshing to me to have a light agenda. We recommended for approval to the full commission the items on our agenda for today. It's items 1, 8, and 9. That's the workers' comp renewal, also the USGS joint funding agreement, and the low-income housing water assistance program agreement. And just one highlight I'll offer from our financial statement, really just to focus on the construction spending. I've mentioned before that we have a $67 million construction program for major capital activities, and that remains on track. The SPLOST projects from the 2016 SPLOST are on track, and anticipate the closure of those in the spring coming up. So that will be a great milestone to achieve, not only from a financial standpoint, but a system improvement, and also a message to the community. We've invested the SPLOST money wisely as entrusted. That completes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll move to the approval section of the meeting. First item is workers' compensation renewal. Jeffrey Singletary. Or Jerry Bridges. Okay.
Guys, same as yesterday, we presented various options, 5 total. in our marketing efforts this year. Our expiring workers' compensation expense was $206,693 for the year we're about to get out of. And going in, we've got 5 options. Our best option, which we recommended yesterday, was National Liability and Fire Company. They're owned by Berkshire Hathaway, an A+ 15 rated carrier. Their quote was $203,464. Zenith, who we've had a relationship for 13 years, their best number was $253,402. The variance we related was mainly our performance last year with Zenith. We had over $300,000 in losses, and Berkshire Hathaway is going to potentially be a new partner for the JWSC. They are taking an aggressive approach, but they have worked with numerous other municipalities and water sewer districts throughout the southeast states.
Can I have a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water Sewer Commission approve the purchase of the workers' compensation insurance coverage with National Liability and Fire policy year 2022-23, the amount of $203,464.
Second.
Motion second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next item is the minutes from the November 18th, 2021 regular meeting.
Move to accept as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is minutes from the November 18th, 2021 executive session.
Move to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Item 4 is the change order number 1, 4036 Basin CIPP. Mr. Klein?
All right, Commissioners, good afternoon. This item is a change order, mostly time extension, but there's a little bit of money involved, $9,000 to be exact. For Bionomic Services, our contractor is currently doing a CIPP or cured-in-place liner on within Basin 4036 of our system. They're out there currently working right now, right at exit 36, I-95, if you'd like to see them in action. But due to materials delays that we're experiencing in most of our projects, and a few other items such as 2 projects coming into confluence with each other, our Pump Station 4036 project, the contractor has to do some bypassing, which surcharges the gravity sewer and impedes the lining process on the lines just upstream from the station. The $9,000 is to cover a demobilization of the bypass pumping and allow Bionomics to go to another location in the project to continue moving forward. And the 87-day time extension, we don't expect all 87 days to be needed. They did give us a conservative schedule to finish. If our Pump Station 4036 project comes off of bypass around the first week of January, we expect that time frame to actually be a little bit less, but they are asking for 87 days. So that puts the completion day at February 28th, 2022.
Can I have a motion?
I'll offer the motion. I move the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve change order number 1 as a project time extension and with adjusted final project completion date of February 28, 2022, and adjusted final contract amount of $932,333.69.
Second. Motion second. Are there any questions? The staff is very pleased with the work the contractor's doing on this, and like Todd mentioned, the delay is mainly because of the work that's going on the other North Mainland project, the pump stations that are being renovated. They're bypassing, so they're backing up some sewers that they can't do the work on. So it's a very needed change order. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item is change order number 2, North Mainland Force Main reroute. Mr. Klein?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This project is our large SPLOST funded project, 2016 SPLOST funded project on the north end. It's the force main extension on Harry Diggers Boulevard and then down Canal Road as well. TB Landmark is our contractor, and one component of this project is the final stretch to connect to our existing system, and that's down a residential area known as Ogden Lane. It's just off of Old Jessup Road, right there at the intersection of Canal and Old Jessup. This change order, in the beginning of the project, when it was awarded with a gravity sewer extension down Ogden Lane. The gravity sewer was proposed to be fairly deep. Staff has taken a real hard look at it, as well as leadership, and due to the impact it would have on the residents down Ogden Lane, access issues to their homes, that kind of thing, we have gone back and taken another look at one of the other options that we bid with the project, was actually extending the force main down Ogden Lane. It's a much shallower pipe, it's much quicker installation, and the contractor believes it's much more feasible to do within the time frame we're looking at. So one good thing about this option, if we do go with that, is it'll actually be a net reduction in the contract price, so we'll actually be saving a little bit of money from the original award. And the one last detail I'll add is there was a little bit of materials increase as we're experiencing, mentioned before, on pretty much all of our projects, but we're still going to have a net decrease in the total project cost of about $417,000. So staff's spoken with leadership extensively, the engineer of record extensively, and we believe this is the right option to go with down Ogden Lane.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Find the exact wording again. See the word. Oh, it's not bold. I move that Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the above required described change order number 2.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Are there any
I
questions?
have a question. Is this going to affect the timeline of the project or extend it out more?
We expect still spring coming up this year for the project to be completed, Commissioner. We expect this to be a much more speedy installation than gravity sewer.
I will say that is entirely dependent on the force main pipe delivery date.
Right.
So that shows up in not old reasonable, but new reasonable timeframes. It shouldn't be a problem, but if that gets extended.
But the installation time is going to be reduced because of the fact that it's
Drastically.
much shallower dig, right?
Yes.
How deep is would the gravity sewer have to be on average?
If we extended the gravity sewer from where the original plan was, upwards of 12 feet or so deep. So it's a very narrow right-of-way, and it varies. The right-of-way property lines vary greatly going down Ogden Lane.
And then by switching to the force main, it reduces how deep it has to be?
Correct, yes, sir. We'll have 3 feet of cover versus the 12 feet plus.
Right. So much less disruption to the customers in that area?
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you, that's all I have.
I've got a comment. We're going to have to repave the entire road.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time we televised that 8-inch sewer line that goes down that road?
Last year.
Is it in good enough shape? We don't need to rehab it or anything like that?
There are some minor defects, but they could be done trenchless repairs at a later date.
All right. Any other questions?
When we're getting change orders like this, I mean, do we have anything in our contracts that requires the contractor to get some competitive pricing on materials and such? I mean, specifically if it's a change, I mean, if it's a hard bid, that's one thing.
Right.
The hard bid piece, they've got their risk in there, but there's a change order, and you got $100,000 worth of material. Obviously, it's not that they would, but they're de-incentivized to go competitively bid. And then kind of follow up with that, I don't know, I mean, we're doing so much work now, which is a really good thing that we get so many projects done. But have we ever explored, like, looking at some of these projects and saying, if we bought the stuff, we'd be tax exempt, and kind of putting our own buyer on staff to buy these things directly, just hire a contractor to install them? Obviously, that's something we have to manage, but I mean, just to total these here, I mean, it's, start with somebody's salary just for this one project.
Yes, sir. We have, particularly for very time-sensitive projects, we have looked at buying materials because particularly with the delays we're seeing in material delivery, we want to get something done in a specific time frame. We've pre-ordered. We don't do that on all applications, and we didn't do that here, but that is something we are looking at because lead times are becoming a havoc on all of our projects.
I know there's, we've explored before, and we're not.
Right.
State law doesn't allow us to be in the hospital to go buy stuff, but I believe, or a utility like this, I think we have the option to.
We can, yes, sir.
To buy the stuff and just save the tax exemption. So even if there's a change order that,
Right.
I mean, small, theoretically, they get the material list, we cut a check for it directly, there's a, 6% savings.
Yes.
off the top.
That is absolutely an option, yes, sir. And like you said, given the amount of projects we're doing, there may be some benefits.
The problem sometimes on that on pipe is while it's being stored, if there's a problem with that pipe, who's gonna be responsible if we bought it in the warranty? We have a 1-year warranty for materials and labor if it's installed by the contractor, whereas we furnishing the pipe, it's kind of a gray area there, is who's gonna be responsible if it,
Yeah, I mean, definitely risk and reward.
yeah.
I think it just boils down to.
And if we had it here, we could do a transfer of ownership
Yeah.
to the pipe, perhaps. But not get it here sooner, but they'd purchase it
Right.
from us at
Yeah.
the time.
I guess what, I mean, to realize this on the grand scheme of things, it might not sound like much, but, you get somebody, like, they're buying the material directly from that person, and they're paying MSRP, or basically the book value of it, and then they're passing along to us, and then they're turning around and get a rebate on the back end for the total annual purchases. I mean, that's fine on hard bid, because everybody's competing against the hard bid, but once they get the project, and it's no longer a hard bid, and they're just basically turning in, they're basically time and material. I mean, the hard bid kind of converts to time and material on the change order side of things.
Mhm.
So there's no competition on the change order side of things, and we're getting stuck with the inefficiencies and all. But,
The problem there when contractors are bidding something, I understand they're getting a price that's good for that day only.
Yeah, that
It
there,
used to be 90
I can
days.
attest that.
yeah,
I
Used to
hear
be
you,
90
but
days or more than that, and
that's
so,
really a separate issue, though. I'm saying when somebody goes to buy something, if I do a change, I mean, if I'm going, saying I'm making something up here, or I'm saying I'm gonna, drive your product to New York, and I have to competitively bid against, Wayne, then he and I, put the competition in the side of the deal. If it's a change order, and I can just go out and buy whatever car I want, pay MSRP, the dealer fee for it, and there's no incentive for me to go out and negotiate in good faith.
well, like on Arnold Road, we were gonna be buying the pipe for Arnold Road if that contract had been awarded.
well, we're still buying the pipe.
Okay.
That's already been ordered. We can't stop it now. Well, we could, but
We've already
I
ordered
don't
it.
want to stop it now.
My only point.
Good
is
point.
two things. On
Yep.
the change order, there's no incentive for a contractor to competitively bid it, unless we can factually say, for all change orders, you'll bid your material over a certain amount.
That's a valid point.
Very
The
good.
second thing is, Good, sir.
Valid points. And I certainly would be something worth considering, at least for allowing to provide multiple material quotes on a change order at the very minimum. Just get some multiple quotes. I mean, obviously, there's multiple pipe suppliers. Good idea.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any other question?
We hadn't voted on it yet. Hadn't voted yet. There's been a motion, but no vote.
No other questions? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Item, okay, 6-0 then. Item 6, final balance and change order number 3, pump station 4003, Mr. Klein.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is to close out the Pump Station 4003 project funded by SPLOST 2016. Our first one there that's closing out, large
Tell us
project.
where that station is.
That station is right across from Brunswick Landing Marina, right across as you come into the beautiful city of Brunswick. It's right there on your left-hand side if you're headed south. So, project is complete. It's functioning as it was designed, and contractor, we're ready to release the contractor. So we've received the final adjusting, or the final pay app. It's going to release all the retainage and everything like that. The project will go into a 12-month warranty period. So anything that shakes loose during the next 12 months, we're going to keep an eye on, and definitely keep in touch with the contractor about. We don't expect that, though. Only thing lacking on this project is with our engineer of record, is our record drawings. We expect those in the next couple of weeks. And other than that, this project's turned out very well.
And we have an adjusting final summary change order, which lowers the price.
We actually, thank you, sir. So every dollar counts. We actually have a reduction of about a little under $9,000 in the contract price on this project. That's some monies we didn't use in some of the lead abatement, asbestos things that we planned for but did not use.
Can I have a motion?
Yes, sir. I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve change order number 3 and project closeout as described above.
Motion second. Any questions?
You mentioned the warranty. Do we do any kind of like pre-warranty expiration walk or anything on projects like 11 months out or so, just make sure there's no?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking, because we do. So we create a city with systems pumping and maintenance on this station, or it depends what the asset is. If it's water distribution, we'll do the same thing with them. 9 months out, we set in City Works an automatic work order that's going to push out for a inspection, warranty closing inspection. Do a final walkthrough, one last walkthrough, anything issue, we'll definitely notify the contractors. Take advantage of that warranty. A lot of times they get forgotten about, but it's part of the contract price, so.
No other questions. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0, 6-0. Thank you. Next item is infrastructure dedications. Mr. Klein.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make one note on this item. It's listed in the agenda as one item, so I believe that
Do them together.
we're going to do them together, so it'll be one motion, but I'll describe both of the projects in the dedications with each. So, first project is dedication of infrastructure for Nottingham Force Main. And Nottingham is, let's see, Nottingham, wherever it went, there it is. Yeah. Is it up? There it goes. So this is an example of a project that was private development driven. In this case, it was a home builder that bought some unbuilt lots within Nottingham subdivision, put new homes in there, and they were, the only option for them was septic systems, except if they were to reach over to our system and connect. That's what they chose to do. So they extended a small diameter force main down Nottingham there. You can see, and it's shown, this is the X's and whatnot, and the orange line to connect into our force main, or our gravity collection system there. The reason why you see the X's is along the way we take GPS shots so that we know we could include it in mapping, revise our mapping when the project's done. It shows up as orange because it's going to be orange until it's actually dedicated to us. We accept it, then it'll turn green as public infrastructure. So the developer or the builder installed it. We inspected it all along the way. It met all of our standards, passed all appropriate testing. And one good thing for us that this does, it also opens up along that street connection points for any other residents. Perhaps if their septic systems fail, they now have an option to tie into public sewer. So, or public wastewater collection. So our first home, new customer was at 518. They tied in, and we're glad to have them. We look forward to the next handful coming on board. So this is a total of 2,395 feet of 2-inch force main installed to serve the up to 5 lots.
How many homes in that subdivision?
Ooh,
Well,
total?
Yeah, an idea? You don't have to count.
That would be, thank you for cutting me off there, because I was about to. Right, I mean, it's on that street alone right there, probably 30, 35, 40 homes.
So if the homes from this area, would you have to run another line to get to the main? If they was on this part of Bucknam?
Yes, exactly. So
You have
if,
to run another line.
correct, there's no existing sewer collection system, unfortunately, on Buckingham or even on South Nottingham
Okay.
or Yorkshire. So they would do very similar to the
Similar to that.
same in connecting it, right.
At our facilities meeting, we discussed that and the possibility of sewer in the whole subdivision.
Right.
And, that's something that we want to look into.
So,
We have the next one.
yes, sir. So the next one,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely, Commissioner.
How much, what's the estimate of the cost for the contractor to do the installation?
That's a fair question there. And so in the dedication documents, we include basically a fair value that they assess to it. And they work with their engineer record, and between their engineer record and the contractor to develop that. And so thank you for pointing that, or allowing me to point that out. This force main here, they assigned a value of $70,000 to it. So we can, Commissioners, you can think of that as a $70,000 infrastructure improvement that was done by this particular home builder, and now being
How many homes did
dedicated.
he build in there?
Up to 5 lots, he's
He
gonna,
built five lots, and those 5, is he asking those 5 to tie in? Oh, he tied those 5 in.
Those will all be tied in, yes.
they will be as they build, yes, sir.
Okay.
With separate pumps, right?
Separate pumps, that's correct, that's correct.
All right.
He's paying for the pumps as well.
Correct, Commissioner, he will. The builder pays for the installation of the grinder pumps and everything. So they also pay for the capital fees to connect, all of that. So it's really a win for Joint Water. And the builder's happy as well. They're happy, maybe a little more marketable for their homes to be tied into public sewer. So
I think in the future, before we accept a pressure system like that in an instance like this, we ought to look at what it would cost to put gravity sewer into the entire neighborhood.
Right.
And then get credit from the builder for that $70,000 toward the cost of that, and have a gravity sewer system in there rather than piecemeal with the pressure system. So I recommend that we start thinking about that as we get developers asking about these things.
absolutely. We definitely prefer gravity collection systems versus the pressurized systems.
Is this a kind of project that we would do in-house, or we would contract this out?
We would likely contract this in-house. We have the talent to do it, for sure.
May not have the time.
Yeah, perhaps not the time,
Okay.
but we would likely contract it out.
Okay.
I'm assuming, was this open cut or they bore this?
They bored this.
I figured they did, yeah.
What's the other one?
Okay, ready? Okay, and the final item here is Surfside Kids Pediatric Dentistry. And that is up at the intersections 125 and Altama area. Click on our location up here, Surfside. Right on the northern corner of College Park subdivision up there. So Surfside's complete as far as construction goes, as far as water and sewer goes, and they're ready to dedicate the little bit of infrastructure they needed to tie onto our system. And that's what this is. It's not a large amount. 50 feet of 6-inch and 42 feet of 2-inch water main and 52 feet of sewer main. So,
That gonna be gravity flow?
correct, Commissioner, it is gravity. So it's going to tie in on the record drawing there.
In this situation, what they're dedicating is the part from the edge of the right-of-way to the system. It's solely serving there.
It is. It's a minor amount, but since it is within the right-of-way, we still go through the motions of dedication.
Well, that whole subdivision was gonna be re-engineered for stormwater. I don't know how that would affect, hopefully it won't affect anything dealing with joint water and sewer.
We've went in and televised all the sewer lines in there, and we've repaired a handful of sections trenchlessly, and a couple of sections we actually had to open cut and dig. But to staff's knowledge, all of the defects have been either corrected or can be corrected trenchlessly, and so the storm project should not be in any way affected by us. And so once you get in there, do the storm project and repave, we won't have to cut the pavement.
Now, also, FEMA may put a retention pond in there when they buy a couple of these houses that they're gonna buy, that floods all the time, so, we talked, yesterday you talked about I&I. Now, I don't know, with all the standing water, how would that affect?
Well, if they put a retention pond there, we'll take real close looks at the sewers right there by the pond and make sure there's no holes at all in those, because we don't want to drain your pond.
So what's the difference between this and, say, a residential development where it goes through the right of way?
It's, if it's a main extension or anything more than a single service, like a service line,
Not a single service?
single customer, with the gravity extension and whatnot on it.
Well, even on single service, we own it from right away to the main. On water and sewer, we own it up to the meter, which is set at the edge of the right of way, and on the sewer side, for new connections, and we're going back and installing them on older systems, we'll put a lower clean out at the right of way, and we own the lateral from the edge of right of way down.
Right, this is, we're taking it
No,
To
no,
the right-of-way line.
up to
It's
the
still
right-of-way
right-of-way
line.
Right.
Then why are they dedicated if we own it automatically? I'm just trying to understand the difference.
Good.
between the two.
That's a fair question. This is an engineered plan, and it's also commercial development, and that's generally the practice it's been in the past. If it's a single-family residence, we don't necessarily make them go through the dedication process and whatnot.
So you're saying basically, I mean, the way the ordinance is written, the way we do business, no matter what happens, this is ours anyhow, whether it's service a single customer, if it's under the right of way, this is just a formality. to
Correct.
make it.
Yes,
That's correct.
that is correct.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Make a motion that the JWSC Commission accept the above described infrastructure for public ownership.
Both ways.
Yes.
Second.
Yes. Above infrastructures, two of them.
Right, just clarify, I mean,
Right.
we're doing one motion for both. This
Right.
motion reads-
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. It's for both.
Infrastructures is plural, right?
Yeah. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Next item is USGS Joint Funding Agreement. Mr. Burris?
Yes, sir. Since 2014, we've been entering into a joint funding agreement with U.S. Geological Survey to monitor saltwater intrusion into the upper Floridan aquifer for the migration of chlorides through the system. We use this for long-term planning to confirm how our activities will impact that plume, but also to know that if any movement of the plume would impact any of our existing wells. For example, the Brunswick-Glynn well is the nearest well currently to the plume. It is not impacted to this date, but it is the closest, and we previously had to close the Perry Park well as a drinking water source, and that has been grouted. So over the years, you see our contribution to the joint funding agreement has fluctuated quite a lot. Last year, we added the Ridgewood well to the monitoring, and that went up to $65,700. And this year, they're asking for $70,100 as part of the joint funding agreement, and that is just due to the rising cost of doing business for them as well. So they're asking us to cover a portion of that. So this is used, again, for water planning when we bring new wells on. Also, Jekyll Island Authority has their own agreement with USGS to monitor for their drinking water system as well. This is budgeted in the Office of the Director's annual operating budget.
Can I have a motion?
Yes, sir. I move that the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission enter into a joint funding agreement with USGS in the amount of $70,100 for the continuation of groundwater monitoring in the upper Floridian aquifer.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Any questions? I have a question. Andrew, you mentioned other wells. Can we get permitted for other wells in upper Floridian aquifer?
We haven't been told no yet. We have several fire wells that are permitted that we can convert to production wells. We haven't tried to drill a well in the upper Floridan in years, so
Yeah, 2004.
we were fortunate to have a lot of available fire wells to convert over, so.
So what's our total permit?
Permit is
water?
11.6 on the mainland, 19 overall.
Okay. So 11.6 on the mainland, but we have 13.5 million gallons of sewer capacity.
That is correct. But we also have large sewer-only customers.
Yeah. Should we think about trying to get more capacity?
We're fixing to convert the Canal Road well over.
Well, I know that, but a permit.
Permitted? We can look at that, yes, sir.
Permit.
Absolutely.
Are any
What's our
questions?
max flow on that?
Well, max flow's somewhere 8 to 9 MGD.
Really? That high?
Mm-hmm.
Not the plant, from a well,
Right. That's system-wide, but yes.
I mean, that's not a sewer plant.
No.
You're not backing that into this from.
No, that's from the well production records.
Now, does that include the Miocene wells, the capacity?
Yes,
you
that
said?
includes the Miocene and everything.
What's the capacity of those wells?
Those are 2 MGD. Well, 3 counting the one in South Mainland.
Okay.
But even still, even with that, that's, I mean, I guess theoretically, you can pump a low at a time to build towers and stuff, not like.
Right, right. So we've got available capacity right now, but for future planning purposes, it wouldn't be a bad idea to look at picking up some more capacity there.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next item is the Low-Income Housing Water Assistance Program Agreement. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the American Rescue Plan Act, Congress has recently appropriated funding to establish a new water and wastewater emergency assistance program. The state of Georgia received $37.1 million towards that, and the Georgia Department of Human Resources has now established that program. It's the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program. It will be managed locally by the Community Action Authorities here in Glynn County. That will be Coastal Georgia Community Action Authority. The households that are eligible for these funds can receive assistance toward arrearages, whether it's because of disconnections that are already occurred or disconnections that are pending, disconnection fees, late fees, and in some cases assistance with current bills, again depending on the eligibility of the household. We have successfully partnered with Coastal Georgia Community Action Authority in the past, so this would be another partnership with them. But in order to participate in this program, Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer will also have to sign an agreement with the state of Georgia Department of Human Services. So through this request, that's what we're bringing before the board.
Can I have a motion?
Yes, I move the Brunswick-Glynn Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program Agreement with the Georgia Department of Human Services.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is second. Are there any questions?
Yes, sir, I have one. Donna,
Yes, sir.
how much is allocated to our Coastal Area Action Authority, do you know?
There's not a specific amount that is allocated at this particular point. One of the challenges is because the eligibility is determined household by household, there's not an accurate way of measuring that in advance. So to some degree, it's a first come, first serve allocation. And at this point, this is the only allocation, this $37.1 million.
So we're competing with everybody in the state of Georgia?
Yes, sir, that's correct. So we're wanting to work quickly and make sure that our customers receive the benefit for
Now, with
this.
that being said, I did have a Zoom call with other utility leaders around the state, and there's only about 7 thus far, 8 thus far, that have actually got this agreement passed. So there is still money available. Now, on that phone call, about 50 people said they were going to get it approved at their next meeting. So somewhat in a race against
right.
everyone else at this point. But
So this means that our residents, the ones who have these enormous late fees or whatever, can get them.
In all likelihood, if people are on payment assistance programs with us or payment arrangements with us and they meet the qualifications, they can get their entire arrearage balance paid for by this.
So, but if they don't know about, I mean, how are they gonna know about this? And I know sometimes we get information to people late and it's too late.
Right.
So is that we're gonna push it or Coastal Area Action Authority is gonna push it?
Likely both. Coastal Area Action Authority already has an electrical assistance program like this, so I know a lot of people take advantage of that. But certainly we have a list of those people on payment arrangements, and we'll be happy to reach out to every one of them and tell them
I would
about the
think
program.
Since we have a list of those
Right.
folks, you know, that they can be automatically jump to the top line to go ahead and submit the application for those.
And we'll be happy to take care of that. Mr. Frank, I'm sure, will be happy to place those phone calls for us.
Can we do a press release?
We can do that. Work with the Brunswick News and the Islander, make sure everybody gets an opportunity to take advantage of it.
Please do. I think it'd be great to have, if they can get those fees.
And we've got some folks, they've been paying diligently for the last couple of years trying to get that balance down, but they're still getting a bill that says they owe us $1,300.
Right.
And that's got to be a heavy weight for them. So getting that removed would be a real blessing.
Let's get that before Christmas, please. So,
We'll do our very best, yes, sir.
pass this.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I want to make a special recognition now.
Oh, my God.
You know, I kind of got surprised today because I've never had to use my cell phone to determine when 2 o'clock came. I can always just know that the mayor was always gonna be here.
I thought it would be a too.
Right?
And it just really blew my mind.
I'm sorry.
But I want to say, I met the mayor at a chamber meeting in Jekyll before I even applied for the position of this. He probably doesn't even remember it. But I told him I might be applying for that. He said, we ought to do that. And that gave me some encouragement. And then I got to know him on this board, and you've been a great mayor, but you've really been a really big asset to this board.
Thanks, sir.
I like the way you give the plaques to people, the awards and everything else. And you say that JWSC only wants the best of the best.
Yes, sir.
And so we just need to remember that. We're trying to have an excellent organization. And it's, we got a great staff, and it all starts with people like you. And you just, you meant a whole lot to me, and made me realize what a wonderful city Brunswick is. And you've done a great job for the past 8 years. And I was pleased to meet the new mayor and see you go up and hug him and say, look, anything I can help you with, I'm glad to do so.
Yes, sir.
So we look forward to the future, and if you ever want to come back to our meeting and ask any questions, or if you ever have anything you need to tell us about or any needs, feel free to call us.
Yes, sir.
Would any other commissioners like to say anything?
Oh, a few comments. I had the pleasure of speaking at his farewell at the city earlier, actually it was Thursday of last week, and I'll offer a few highlights there. Mayor, it's been my pleasure to serve with you. We didn't know each other when we both started here, or at least when I did start it, other than just passing in the community, but it's been a privilege for me to get to know you, to serve alongside of you. Thank you very much.
And let me, as well, I met the mayor, sitting, we were right here. And from that time, 3 years ago when I came, I have had the privilege of getting to know him better and better. For the way that he served here, his heart for Brunswick and for the JWSC is evident anywhere he goes. And it's been my distinct pleasure to get to know him better, to work with him from the county level. We've formed, I think, a strong bond. And as you say, what we recognize from the city of Brunswick and what it's doing, the renaissance that it's experiencing, comes from large part from the hands of the mayor. And I appreciate that. I appreciate what he brought to JWSC and just for the friendship that we've found over these last few years.
Well, not much you can add to that, but I do want to say I enjoy being your colleague and your friend.
I would too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Let me read this plaque. Grateful appreciation to Cornell L. Harvey for his dedicated leadership and guidance during 8 years of service as a member of the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission, July 1, 2010 to December 31st, 2012, and then January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2021.
Been here a long time.
Bill, let me do this.
Yes, sir. I still dressed the part. Yeah, I did. I appreciate it. You know, I'm not a person who is short on words. I do have a couple words to say. I've enjoyed being here and working with some of the greatest individuals who have the heart of this community. I mean, water and sewer, breathe and die with it. You guys are really, really good. And I enjoy being a commissioner right along with you guys and serving. We didn't get paid, did we? But
Different night, yeah.
But anyhow, I do believe exactly what I say when I get up here and say only the best comes here. And I know what this commission has done to bring joint water and sewer up to where it is. We are one of the best organizations here in Brunswick, here in our community. We are one of the best ran organizations here in our community. You know, people talk about other, no, this is it. I tell people all the time, you want to come here, only the best come, and I really mean that. Because we have the greatest leadership, we have great operations, we have people who are concerned about people. And I'm just glad to be a part of that, because I've been a part of that. And I will always advocate for joint water and sewer, always. Because I know what it has done, I know what it will do, and I know how it will do, even in the future. So, I thank you, I'm really surprised, but I really thank you, and I enjoy your friendship more than you ever know.
We hope you'll come to a lot of our meetings.
Yes, sir. Thank you all, thank you. Charlie, thank you for keeping us out of jail.
The statute hadn't run on that.
You got 2 more weeks.
Thank you so much. Todd, thank you. I really appreciate it. Jay, thank you. Andrew, I really want to tell you that, as I told you before we had the meeting, you know, you have really come here and you've proven yourself more than anything. And you've shown us that that the drive, the energy that you bring helps bring this organization up to the top. So continue to do that and just make it even better if we can. I don't know if we can or not, but this is a great organization and it's due to good leadership and hiring good people as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Executive Director's update.
Yes, sir. I want to say thank you to each of our commissioners that came out and helped our Christmas luncheon last week. We always need people to help pour the drinks up, so thank you for that. And it was a great time to spend together as staff, and it's always my pleasure to recognize our employees for the work they do for our community. And anytime we can give away a 40-year service pin to an employee is a tremendous day. The Georgia Economic Outlook is returning to our area this year in early January the 12th at 11:30 at Jekyll Island. We will have a table. If any of you would like to attend that luncheon, please let me know. And then off of what we were just highlighting the mayor for, I just want to say a tremendous thank you to Mayor Harvey for both his 8 years of broken up service here at Joint Water and Sewer and his 8 years of continuous service as mayor of Brunswick. Mayor Harvey's been serving their citizens of Brunswick since before the formation of Joint Water and Sewer. He told me he was working on the city commission before Joint Water and Sewer started. And I hope that our organization continues to grow into the utility he envisioned at the time of its creation. He's helped guide the Joint Water and Sewer through several rough patches, and we are all certainly better off because of his leadership. While at the city, he is overseen, as Commissioner Neal mentioned, a revitalization of downtown Brunswick with both new commercial activities and some new downtown apartments. I remember going to several presentations that we were jointly giving about a year ago where Mayor Harvey mentioned that the city needed a ladder truck for their fire department. And a lot of people thought that seemed unnecessary. However, we're getting loft apartments in downtown, and so they need a ladder truck. Now that's a small story, but it shows to me the true character of Mayor Harvey. Since people are going to be living downtown, he knows we need to be able to serve them, and he knows we need the right tools to do so, and he's trying to make sure we get it. As a true servant of the people, Mayor Harvey served his country for many years in the military. He then served as a city commissioner and a JWSC commissioner, and then mayor and JWSC commissioner again. He provided all of us as a shining example of what serving our community means, and I know personally that at the time spent with him, I've learned valuable lessons that will benefit me moving forward. As he is fond of saying, but is most certainly applicable to his service to our community, only the best come to the JWSC. Thank you for your service to our utility and the city of Brunswick.
Thank you, sir.
And other than that, just a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone.
I want to thank our staff for the good year we've had, the hard work you've put in. I also want us to remember Janice Meredith as we go into the holiday season. Hopefully she'll be back soon in the new year. We miss her, but we appreciate Krista subbing in for her. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate everybody that worked at the luncheon we had. It was good to have a real luncheon, a live luncheon this past week. And I want to thank all of the commissioners for the input you've had. It takes a team effort to get things done, and we appreciate our director and assistant director and engineer and Charlie and Jay and Krista and the whole staff that we have. We have a great staff. And I hope that this next year that you'll be thinking during the holidays, because we're supposed to all have a passion for this work that we're involved in. And so if you wake up in the middle of the night or something, just write it down as what you'd like for us to achieve this next year. It's always good to take notes. And everybody has opinions, but if you talk to the people in the community too, just tell them you're on the Joint Water and Sewer Commission or you work for them, what would they like to see done? Because we want to be not only, we don't necessarily, I mean, it's nice to be told that we might be one of the, a standard or something like that, but we want to really be true servants of this community. And we need to realize that water and sewer is the lifeblood of our community. And without it, Brunswick and Glynn County and St. Simons, they would not be here. Or they would not be here in the form they're in now. And so we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to move forward, and I appreciate everybody's ability to do that. Now, next year we plan on having a retreat on the Wednesday morning before the facilities and finance meetings. And that's going to be, I think, at 10 o'clock, and it's going to be at Charlie's.
You know what date that is?
That's the 19th.
19th.
At Charlie's office. At 1 o'clock that day, we'll have the facilities meeting and the finance meeting following that, committee meeting. And then the first meeting will be after the next day, and that's when we will we'll have one new, we might have another person from the county and another person from the city, and I think that'll be all that we'll have new to the board. So be thinking about what you want to talk about at the retreat. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, let me know so we can talk about things or whatever. But I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just thank you for everything you've done. Now, we do need to enter into executive session to talk about property and personnel, I think. So we'll talk about personnel first and then property.
Yes, sir, personnel and property, and there'll be votes afterwards, I anticipate.
Okay, so why don't we go in and talk about personnel first, and Andrew, you just stay out here, and then we'll come back out and talk about property.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we go to executive session.
All in favor? Carries.
Is it 30? I hadn't seen those. Did you actually get them in?
Yeah, I forwarded to you. You got your
Yeah,
phone?
I got it.
You need our assistance or my assistance?
No, the only thing they're doing is the, that property.
It is terrible.
for the record. We got November on the new calendar. As long as we weren't February, you're okay, because February you're getting shortchanged. But we finished third out of more than 300 submissions.
Wow. It's impressive to be on the calendar.
Pat Murphy showed up with the calendars. I just knew we were going to get February.
You know, have all those calendars been put up in op centers?
We probably got a stack still somewhere we can pass out.
November short-change too, it's not enough.
Not as much February, and it's because it ain't a leap year. You're definitely getting double hit there.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we retire from executive session and return to normal commission meeting.
Motion second, all in favor? Okay, we're back in regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we amend the agenda to include two things. The first being an amendment to the executive director contract, and the second being an amendment to Chapel Coffee purchase and sale agreement.
Second.
There's a motion second, all in favor of amending the agenda? So moved. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir. Regarding the first motion, I move that we approve the second amendment to the executive director agreement.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
And regarding the second bullet point, I'd like to move that we approve the third amendment to the purchase and sale agreement with BC Dirt LLC related to the Chapel Cross property.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Adjourn. Thank you very much. Andrew.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Wow. It's coming at us fast.
Right up. Yeah. It's soon gonna be time to start shopping.
That's true.